welcome to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton. This is the player ratings video for Everton 2, Norwich 0 at Goodison Park today. So we start with the goalkeeper, Jordan Pickford. Great just to see him back in the side. He's still clearly suffering a bit of pain with his shoulder, which seemed to go in the second half, which was a bit worrying because we need him in this team. I think he just adds that assurity now. He's become one of the senior players. And I think he just inspired a bit of confidence for the defence and the fans as well, to be honest. So he gets a 7 for me today. Made a great save at 1-0, pushing it over his bar. One that you'd probably expect him to make, but he definitely needed to make it. And other than that, I thought his distribution sort of settled the side down a little bit. There was one poor kick in the first half, but I think the way he switched it to the full-backs when Norwich tried to press high to the edge of the box just got through the lines, got through the initial lines and brought us straight on the attack. So I just thought you expect that with him nowadays. But yeah, great performance. Right back, Ben Godfrey, 6 for me today. I thought he did well, but he sort of lacks that sort of attacking flair. As we know, he's not a right back. He lacked a bit on that right hand side, which we were getting from Lucas Digne. Obviously, it's harsh to compare him to our full back, considering he's a centre back by trade. But he actually did a lot better tonight than he did in midweek, so he sort of made up for that. I think Norwich's right back, Max Aarons, looks a good player. I know we've been linked with him in the past. I'd love to see him signed as a sort of future Seamus Coleman. I thought going forward he looked great. I think he could have got 7, Godfrey maybe. It's a little bit harsh, but I think he got roasted by Brandon Williams at one stage and Yeremina had to cover. And he missed an absolute sitter, which should have made it 3-0, albeit it was on target, but he should have scored. So 6 for him. Centre-backs, Mina and Keane. I thought Mina changes this team when he comes in. I think he's our best centre-back. I think he calms Keane down a bit when he's next to him, albeit between them they don't have a great deal of pace. I thought he was very solid. He wasn't really tested in the first half, but in the second half immediately he had to make a couple of good tackles. Pucky was running through on the counter attack. I think he tried to pop it through his legs, but Mina stood firm and held him up and nullified that threat. And then when Godfrey was beaten for pace by Williams, Mina was the one covering. He was there every time. Very solid display. Was winning headers when they threatened from free kicks and corners late on. So he gets an 8 for me. Michael Keane, 7. Again, he was solid. Didn't do anything that to achieve that 8 that I've just described for Mina. But I think at one stage he let the ball bounce in the first half, and you could hear the sort of anxious groan from the crowd because, rightfully so after the couple of mistakes he's made so far this season. But really solid today. Did what he had to do. He had to have a lot of the ball as we were sort of pushing up, and he used it well. He used it simply, but he kept it ticking over. Thought he did really well today. So 7 for Michael Keane, 7 for Digne as well. I thought it was probably his best performance of the season. Everything was going through him as it did for years with Leighton Baines. He's the new Leighton Baines for us these days. Every attack seems to go through him. He worked well with Iwobi in front of him and Gray when Gray would pull across. Was trying to get balls into the box, make things happen, and he just kept going as well. He just kept going even when it was. This wasn't the greatest game of football with chances end to end, but Lucas Digne was always trying to create something within a slow tempoed game. He again possibly could have had a better score than 7, which is what I'm giving him, but that Max Aarons gave him the run around at one stage. He picked up a yellow card, so I think he does always have that little bit of question mark, and I think that comes down to his physicality. We saw this last week at Aston Villa when the player got the other side of him, the right back there, Cash. So he still does have that question mark when he's up against a pacey attacker out wide, but on the ball, brilliant today. Central midfield is where I was most impressed with today. Allen, he was brilliant today. I thought he was. It's kind of what we expect from him now. lots of interceptions and cleverly being in the right place at the right time. But on the ball, I think he's actually better than I sort of was giving him credit for last season. I think when he dares to attack, he looks good. He can control it well in tight spaces and pick off a good pass. And he won the penalty today just by going for it and getting in there and making sure he won that ball first. Bit of a dive, but he was caught, so it was rightfully a penalty. So he gets a 7 today for me. Decore is his midfield partner is my man of the match today. I thought he was the best player on the pitch, especially first half, and not just doing what we expect of him. I thought he looked like a prime Patrick Vieira today. I thought he was actually he was all over the place. He was the whole engine for the team, and it was intensity every time he got the ball. It was good passing. He was picking the right passes. I thought he was an absolute beast in there today. He dragged us up from our half into Norwich's half quickly to put them on the back foot, put them not at ease. Even there was one time he was on the right hand side, he picked out Lucas Dean, so it was good vision as well, the sort of side I don't necessarily expect it from him. Expect the engine, expect all the off ball work, and he can drive and carry the ball. But some of his passing was great today, especially in the first half. I thought his levels dipped slightly as Norwich grew into the game and started to get a foothold, but he gave the ball away at one point, which I think led to that chance that Pickford had to save. But other than that, he more than made up for that with his burst and run forward for the goal. Great finish, and great to see him scoring again. Because he needs to chip in with goals. We're going to need him to do that this season to keep getting 3 points. So Decore gets an 8. Well done to him. Iwobi was positive, but with probably a little lacking with the end product. I thought early on, I thought he had to grow into the game a little bit. He had a bit of a poor delivery from the left-hand side, slightly wasteful. But then he did pick out Rondon for Townsend's chance. He did slip Gray in for a half chance after that. And he kept going as well. I thought he worked well in triangles with Dean and Gray. So it was a positive display from him, just lacking in that end product. I thought a game like this, I'd maybe expect a little bit more from him in terms of creativity, but he did well. I think everyone today, apart from I'm slightly harsh on Rondon coming up, but I thought everyone as a team performance in general, you could have given everyone a sort of 7, and it would have been fair enough. It was a decent team performance today more than anything, which is more important. But Iwobi gets a 6 for me today. Townsend, again, I've given him a 7 today. I thought he was really solid. He doesn't seem to put a foot wrong. He doesn't seem to give it away. He makes good decisions, and he's comfortable in possession. He wins free kicks. He gets us higher up the pitch. The only time he does give it away is from his crosses when he's trying to make something happen, and they're normally at least half threatening. Apart from his corners today, they've obviously practiced corners in this week, and Townsend, even though he's left-footed, he's got a great right foot on him, as we know, was taking corners from the left-hand side with his right foot to in-swing them. So well done for the idea, but they were absolutely shocking, his corners. They couldn't beat the first man. Still probably an improvement on Andre Gomez's corner, which led to his goal against QPR, but I think he needs to work on them if we're going to be doing that one again. Penalty as well, he's shown great leadership to step up in the absence of Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison, and he buried it. Tim Krul was trying to put him off, but he buried it, and it was rarely in doubt, really. So he's become an instant leader in this team, and again, he got a good reception leaving the pitch. He looked a bit confused that he was being taken off, but a good performance from him. Damari Gray, great composure in these tight spaces. I mentioned this in the other video. You need that against the side. Norwich, they were here to stifle and sort of upset us for as long as they could. And Damari Gray just always offered an option because his first touch is so sharp every single time. It allows him to take it on the half turn. It just gets you up the pitch. It gets you into areas where we can create chances. because we didn't have that option in behind really with Rondon not having any pace. Damari Gray had to be that option, so he had to work really hard. And I thought he fronted the press really well as well off the ball, helped us to press higher up the pitch, especially in that first half when we were controlling possession. By pressing high up the pitch, that's how we were winning the ball back easier. So I thought Gray was at the forefront of all that. So could have given him an 8, but he gets a 7 today because I think Decore's just edged it. Rondon, it's probably harsh. We've won the game, but I've given him a 5. I just didn't think he showed enough to even. I thought he was below what you'd expect of an Everton striker. I get that he's off the pace still, but I mean, how many times can we use that as an excuse? I might be being harsh. I just think at times he wasn't even winning aerial duels against Grant Hanley for half the game, which is what I sort of expected of him. There are times when he holds it up well, and when he does get the ball, he can bring a player into play, and he did it okay. But I just don't think he offered enough. I think there was times when we needed a bit more up front as Norwich were growing into it in the second half, and I think if it wasn't for Gray's run in the Decore for the goal, I don't think it was going to come from Rondon. Even crosses into the box, he was nowhere near them. He nearly got an assist for Townsend's chance early on, but other than that, I didn't note much. He even gave a free kick away in a dangerous area by being clumsy. And he worked hard, to be fair to him. He's obviously still off the pace, and it's not his fault that he's been rushed in with this much game time early on. But hopefully the 90 minutes will do him good either way. Substitutes Gordon, Davis, Dobbin. I don't think they're on the pitch really long enough to achieve a rating, but it was great to see Dobbin get on and get involved. Gordon as well, he showed pace at one point and a bit of nous to see Williams was coming back, and he ran across him to buy the foul and a yellow card for their player in the end. Davis had a shot with his first touch, won a corner. Dobbin, just great to see him involved. It would have been nice to see Ellis Sims too, but it wasn't to be. So Rafa Benitez today, he gets an 8 as well. I think the players were up for it from the off with high intensity. That clearly came from the game plan. I thought we were getting it wide, putting Norwich under pressure, pinning them back, making them work hard by keeping possession, which ultimately got us a foothold in the game, and we won it from there, really. The game was managed well enough. It was getting nervy at one stage, but when you look to the bench, there wasn't much there. But it was good to see him bring Gordon on and bring Dobbin on, because I think they deserve a chance, really. They look like they're capable, so it's good to see that he's allowing them that chance instead of denying them it. So an 8 for Benitez again today. And good performances all around, really, and looking forward to Man United next. So please like and subscribe, and check out the match reaction as well if you haven't already. I'll see you next time today.